gathered the tools for fermenting. What you doing over here?
So this is the brine. It is six cups, which should be 1.5 quarts. So that is 5 tablespoons of kosher salt, which we are heating and dissolving into brine. This is the brine for our dill beans.
I'll wait until you're done your Muttley laugh.
Oh, you made a troll.
Yes. So, here's the different tops.
We ordered these tops from Amazon. When you're fermenting things, there's gases that occur, and this automatically burps. You don't have to worry about like the glass shattering. So you just put this cap on, you set it to the date that it should be good, and you just leave it alone and just go and test eat it when it should be done.
Explain burping.
Well, the gases build up, and if the seal's you want the seal to be tight enough that mold doesn't develop, but you also, if too many gases build up, it can explode, and we don't want it to explode. So there's a little silicone nipple here that will let extra gas out, but not new oxygen in.
Neat.
So the spores for the mold can't get in, because everywhere has mold. It's just a matter of whether or not it gets a foothold. So hopefully, between the warm brine and the fact that no new air should get through this silicone nipple, we'll cut this part maybe.
Leaving it in.
So, between the seal on the inside and the seal on the outside that should just let extra gas out, we shouldn't have to like worry about this exploding if the fermentation goes wild for 8 hours. We can just put it under the counter, because it's in 60 to 80 degree weather, which downstairs should be fine for, and we'll just put it in a cool, dry place.
Cool.
So this goes on here once all the ingredients are in here. And we're trying the recipe that came with it. We got the easy fermenter.
Nice.
So we're going to try dilly beans.
Dilly beans.
We're also going to make some pickles. That should be, actually that'll be on the same video. I don't have to say that we're going to make pickles. We'll show that we're making pickles.
Yeah.
No, let's try that. So now the salt's all integrated. This is, you saw it before with all the salt at the bottom, but now there's no salt. This is just very salty water.
The brine.
The brine.
We've made the ocean.
But we don't want to put the beans in hot, so we set this aside to cool, and we'll use it later. I know you can set the date on the cap, but it's a little tight and I don't want to risk breaking them, and I just like having these labels. So I'm putting the name of what we're making and the date we started it, and hopefully we remember to do the math. So this should be ready somewhere between the 10th and the 14th.
Beans.
So we've had a lot of beans. We can't possibly eat all these beans as quickly as they're coming out. So we are going to pickle them. According to the recipe, I need to get these spices out. So I need a tablespoon of red pepper flakes, 4 cloves of garlic, and 1 teaspoon of black peppercorns, and some dill.
Red pepper. Whole black pepper.
Garlic, and dill. So first, we spice the jar. Spicy beans. We need a teaspoon of that. So just that many peppercorns. And 4 garlic cloves, which I will have to peel and then crush. I always want to crush your garlic.
Why?
Releases the anison.
Anison.
Anison. And then you crush it. Put the pepper. Yeah, 3 more garlics to go. And more garlic. Looks like there's 4 in there. That's because I crushed 1 real good. So this is actually the 4th.
Oh.
And as all Italians know, the recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic. It's 8 cloves of garlic. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to stick within range. There's 4 big chunks of garlic. We can flavor the taste later. All right, and the last thing we need is dill. Which I haven't opened yet, so look, don't do it like this. I think a little more dill.
Alright.
We use exact measurements.
Like a little more.
Yeah, a little more dill. It says we should be using flowers, but leaves work fine.
Very strong.
Is it pungent?
Mm-hmm.
Me too. Ooh, that's good. Can't wait to eat that. So, then we throw in our beans, and then we throw in our brine. So, let's get our beans. I'm going to start from the bottom, because those are the older beans that'll be drier and more in need of pickling. We'll just get the ends off so they get real soaked in the brine. These have all already been rinsed, so. You can see like our earlier beans, our early season beans, and then you see our late season beans. There's slight difference. Early season bean, late season bean.
Yeah.
We're just gonna keep going until we think it's full. Really getting them in there.
Mm-hmm.
We got pole beans, we got bush beans. Not Bush's baked beans, don't sue.
It's a variety of bean.
More beans.
How many should be in there?
As long as the brine covers it, it'll be fine. And the brine should go up to there.
Alright.
So, I think that's a good start. Good start. Okay.
Now we add the brine.
We found your piece of sesame. Now we add the brine.
We should really invest in a funnel.
We should invest in a funnel. The other thing you can do is just scoop it.
That's
Instead of trying to pour, you just... Here we go. The brine's going in. You remember our brine from earlier in the video. We prepped it earlier today. It's 6 cups of water and 5 tablespoons of coarse kosher salt. Heated, so it's completely briny and good.
Briny goodness.
Briny goodness.
Yeah, there's some floating.
You might have to put something in there to weight them down.
Like what?
A clean rock will do it. A shot glass. Look at that. So let's find something to weight it down before we seal it off. Just like that. They make weights that you can put in half at a time to weight down the whole thing, but you can just use a stone that you've washed in hot water or a shot glass or... Now we do that.
Ta-da!
Now, this isn't a thing we have to do upon first sealing, and we don't have to with the burpers. Well, not first sealing, but every time you check these, you let in fresh air and thus possibly fresh mold spores. They need oxygen to survive, though. So, if after you open it and check it, you've broken the seal, there's new mold spores, use this, you pump it twice, and it draws out all the oxygen. You can see it start to bubble now.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the gases being released to repressurize up here. As this ferments, you're going to see more bubbles, especially when we open it to check.
Okay.
So we will be back in 3 days to check on our beans.
That one's gonna be my pickle.
This is going to be your pickle because you want to do a half sour. I'm going to do dill in slices, but you wanted a full half sour. So
is that gonna fit in the thing?
That's what I was going to test. Barely.
I don't know if Brian will cover that.
We'll just make more brine.
We could cut it in half.
You want to cut it in half?
We could cut it in half.
Alright. Will it fit cut in half though? Because it's pretty wide.
Yeah.
Might have to cut it into quarters. Half and then half. Just so they all slide together.
Fine. 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 You and your sliced pickle. You. Sliced pickle.
It's
Fine.
not, it's reality.
Fine.
Reality is insisting on a sliced pickle. Okay. I have no control over how large the cucumbers grow in the garden. It's not my fault we got frickin' monsters.
Look at it in my hands. Pickle. It will be. Right now it's a pre-pickle cucumber.
Pickle ingredient. So, yes, this will be your half sour. And then I have mine over there, which will be dill.
And also peppers.
I'm also making dinner, which includes peppers from our garden.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the brine for the half sour. It's the same brine. It's 6 cups of water to 5 tablespoons salt. And we're going to heat it. We're not going to boil it. Once it starts bubbling, we're going to turn it down. But all of this salt should disappear, and the water will end up clear. I'm slicing what will become dill pickles. I'm just trying to wedge them all in there.
Cram as many as I can in there.
Yeah, get them all down. In fact, do you want an extra half sour?
Sure.
There you go. Saves me. So they're good and crammed in there. All the spices are at the bottom. And that takes about 10 days. But I have to finish looking up the half sour recipe because that's why I made the brine for that. So I could start with this, but I did say I was going to start with this, so I'm sticking to that. So I was going to cook 8,000 things at once. I'm going to make a lovely dinner. I'm going to drink my first beer in 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
Something like that. It's also your birthday weekend.
It's my birthday weekend, so
It won't be by the time this comes out, but
no.
Right now it is.
Yay. Happy birthday to me. Thanks for joining me. So, mistakes were made, then decisions were made, then mistakes were made, and then decisions were made. And let me explain. Originally, Becca prefers Rowyn. Originally,
I am a woman of many names.
Rowyn prefers half sour pickles. It turns out, double checking the recipe, I am missing 2 critical ingredients for half sour pickles. So, instead, we've changed. So I will have my dill pickle spears, and she will have what we're calling super dill, where we've supercharged the ingredients. We've added in more garlic, we've added in more dill and more pepper. And we're going to let that ferment for less days before we try it to see how it all comes out.
Dill.
So we've got dill pickles and super dill.
Super dill.
And we're ready to, let's add the water to this. It's warm, not hot, which should be fine. You let it cool, it just can't.
So it's an experiment.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, looks like there's, well, they're all under the water, so just make sure that the spices mix in there. But yeah, no pickles poking out, so that's good.
Woo.
They're all under the water.
You don't want your pickle poking.
You don't want your pickle poking out. Then you just put on the cap with the burper, and we're just gonna let this do its thing for 7 days. We're gonna be back on the 14th to try it and perhaps put it back for a few days. I don't know if that one's supposed to be sunk. Everyone else is floating. He's got to be different. So, we've been keeping our fermenting vegetables in the bar because it's out of the light and it's a little cooler than the rest of the house. Probably have to, there's some floating beans that's not supposed to happen, so probably have to go in and do that. It's only been 2 days.
I was going to say this is day 2.
This is day 2. We're going to go in tomorrow and we'll be able to taste test them.
Awesome. Variety.
That's our super dill, so that has a lot of spices in it. That will be very flavorful. That one we still have to wait 5 more days before we can try.
Yeah.
The dill is similar, but slightly less. They're really crammed in there too.
Yeah.
Looks like they're starting to float, so I'll have to go and weight them down.
They do that occasionally.
Yeah. They'll get more buoyant as if this was a release thing, and you release the pressure, you'd see the bubbles form up. Just little creatures in there eating. And leaving behind tasty goodness, making the pickles even better for us. And now it's away until we try the dill beans tomorrow. So it is currently August 11th, so this can take 3 to 7 days to finish fermenting. So we are going to try the dill beans to see how they are. Alright, I want to get one that's deep in there, so let me get a fork. I want to try one that's been like way under there. Let's get the shot glass out. I'll have to.
Oh yeah, that was weighing it down.
It smells lovely. Mmm.
Yeah?
Very I think it's got a little bit of that fermented tingle. The dill definitely comes through. It's very salty, of course. And the spiciness really helps. Like,
good.
It's still essentially a green bean, but it's enhanced. It's very good. I think this is a success. We can probably full cap this and put it in the fridge and just snack on them.
Sounds good. Alrighty. I probably shouldn't record at the same time.
I'll just feed it to you, and you tell me if it's delicious.
Yes.
Describe the dill bean.
Spicy bean. You made a spicy bean.
It's a spicy bean. Still got that green bean flavor, but the saltiness and it's an enhanced bean. This is a snack worthy bean. I could have half a dozen of these and be like, yeah, that's good for between meals.
What else could we do with it? Could we cook with them? Could we put them in things?
We could. I mean, I do sauteed green beans typically to go with like our corn on the cobs and the steaks. There's no reason why I couldn't incorporate this into a different green bean dish. We could melt cheese over it, have a green bean casserole.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Spicy green bean.
And into the fridge it goes.
So what day is this?
This is day 7. So it should be 7 to 10 days we put down there. So we can try both of these and see where we're at.
I'm afraid of the super dill.
The super dill might be a little too spicy in every regard.
I mean, it's a different color. It's like...
It's super dill.
It is. It's super dill. Shake, shake, shake.
If they're as strong as the dilly beans.
Right. Like, the beans were so,
Very strong.
That's...
Oh. Alright.
Splat. I mean, I can smell it from here. Is it...
That's a fucking dill pickle.
It is?
That's a fucking dill pickle.
You made a pickle?
I made a pickle.
You made a pickle?
Try this shit. I still think we can turn down the brine a little bit. It's a little saltier than I'd prefer. But that's a pickle.
Oh. What are you?
He's baby. Instructions for the vacuum.
No. It was in my shot.
So, dill pickle success. That is a delicious pickle.
Very much flavor.
Eating that on a bagel with some tuna fish. That's a perfect flavor combo. Alright. That one's done. We can cap that. And let's try the super dill. This might be what we use for... Let's get a shake for a lot of spices on top. We should put heavier things in here because a lot of them floated. I worry about that. But it hasn't seemed to affect anything so far. We just reach in. We'll grab this piece for a tester.
How okay?
It smells of pickle. All right.
Did you die?
No. It is much more a wall of flavor that hits you. But it's not bad. I think this will go in the relish. I think that we'll use the super dills.
Huh.
Yeah, that needs to be toned down. That's going to get mixed into other stuff. These can be eaten, just eaten. These need to be recipe'd. That's what we're going to do. But they're done. They're done being pickles.
So these just eaten these into recipes.
Super dill we'll use in recipes, and the dills we will just eat.
Okay. Alright, successfully pickled.
We've done a pickling. Stay tuned while we do jams and sauces. We're going to can and jam. Can jam.
Can do. Rock on.